Hey, Yasmin, how are you?
I'm good. Do you have time for this interview?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? What is it about?
It's for my class.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. I will be taking notes in order to write a paper for my class. In this paper, your identity will be shared with anyone, and in order to protect your privacy, no identifying information will be shared. If at any time you feel uncomfortable answering a question, please let me know, and we can move on to another question or stop the interview. Can I process this interview?
Yeah, sure. What would be your first question?
How would you describe your religion identity?
I describe myself as a Muslim. A Muslim is someone who follows Islam. And Islam is a religion. Islam, in and of itself, means to submit to God. So in Arabic, it's more of a word, um, uh, a verb in a way, a verbal word that means to submit to God. Unlike when you say, Judaism, which are the people who, which is, I guess it's a root word for like it has a root word Judah inside of it. Now, Judah, really didn't come up with the Jewish religion at all. It's just what they were called later on, and that's what it stands for the people who imitate Judah. Considering, Jesus was, well, in our religion, he was, they attempted to, murder him. But I don't like saying they did that thousands of years ago. No, you know, each generation to its own. That's my point of view. So, yeah, I'm Muslim, and gladly explained what it is. People get it wrong a lot.
Were you a were you a part of this religion growing up? If not, how would you come to find it?
I was not, well, I think my answer to that would be I was born a Muslim. Now, my point of view right now, which is also the Islamic point of view, is that we believe that from the time you were born to the time you reach puberty, um, that's when you consider yourself a Muslim. We consider kids Muslims in a way. They're completely innocent of sin, and even if they do something that seems like a sin, it's not counted as a sin. Um, and then what happened to me was uh, I had my on and off days. So I would have my very religious days. I remember in the beginning of high school, I started off not very religious, and then when I was in 10th grade, all the way to the age of 19, I was extremely religious. Um, and then after that, I fell off for a little bit. And then 5 years later, I really fell off, where to the point where I almost did not believe in any religion. So people who are born Muslim are not necessarily Muslim. I'd say I just became Muslim, and as Islam words it, I reverted. We don't say we converted, we say we reverted to Islam because we believe as kids we were in this state called fitra, and fitra is the state of Islam. Uh, it's a state in submission to God, and yeah.
Does your religious views and influence your daily life? If so, how?
It influences my daily life tremendously. Um, I pray 5 times a day, so there you go for a good amount of prayer, more than people expect. People are usually surprised when they hear 5 times a day. They think it's very tough. However, it only takes 5 minutes to wash up. We're supposed to wash up before prayer. And after we wash up, we pray for 5 minutes or less. So that's 10 minutes, 5 times a day. It shouldn't be very hard. I mean, we believe that we should be grateful to God, and that's the least we could offer. And it also gives me a peace of mind. So the fact that Islam gives me a peace of mind allows me to go about my day in a smoother manner, where I'm not afraid of anything. I believe death and life are in the hands of God, and whatever happens to us has already been predetermined, and everything will be explained in the afterlife, where everything really matters. Basically, God sends His signs to the people, to every person. His signs are shown throughout a person's life, um, and so there's people who deny His signs, and there's people who accept them, and none of us have a right to say, "Hey, that person is a non-Muslim, therefore he's for surely gonna die a disbeliever." That's not right, because the Prophet Muhammad said there are people who will be Muslims all their life, and they will commit a certain sin right before death, and they'll die being considered a disbeliever. While on the other hand, there will be a disbeliever who will disbelieve all his life, and just a day or two before he dies, he repents to God, and gets God's favor. Sorry.
How would you describe the central values of your religion to someone who is learning about it for the first time?
Well, I would focus on the most important thing. Before I even speak about prayer, before I even speak about our practices, some people, they jump straight to the practices, or we're supposed to do this and that and that. I don't I don't talk in those terms. I tell them the core the core thing that distinguishes, in my opinion, as a Muslim, and that's also in Islam, is, do we believe in one God? And if we believe in one God, do we give Him the correct attributes? Um, we cannot believe in more than one God, because, as God describes in the Quran, it's illogical. If there are many gods, uh, as you see in almost every religion, if not all of them, there are conflicts between the gods. And now, if you imagine, there's the god of rain, god of plants, god of animals, and stuff like that. As soon as there is a conflict between them, then the earth should cease to exist. I mean, the universe itself should cease to exist, because each god controls some very important part or aspect of the universe.
For you, what is the most meaningful aspect of your faith?
The most meaningful aspect of my faith is, of course, the belief in God, because God is just a very, very powerful. For someone who truly believes in God, there's nothing more meaningful than that. Is to think that there's an all-powerful God who is watching, and that He will also judge us based on what we did. It encourages me to do good. It encourages me to be better towards my family. It encourages me to, follow it more strictly. So it brings peace of mind, and it gives you hope, and it gives me hope, basically. Sorry, I get some, but so it gives you hope, and you don't think death is the end. You're not afraid of death. A lot of people, the older they grow, the more bitter they become, or the more afraid of death they become, or they try to avoid death at all costs, which is good. I mean, if you do that by staying healthy, then that's fine. But being afraid of it is the problem that could depress you. And I'm glad I'm not there.
What are some of the expected practices of your religion? For example, attending religious services, studying sacred texts, prayers, meditation, thinking, volunteering, ethic. Which of these practices do you find most important for your life?
Well, I'd say prayer is the most important for my life, because it keeps me in line. it's really hard to sin when you have to stay clean for the next prayer. Because committing a a big sin, we'll say, uh, means you have to wash up all over again. Means that your prayers probably didn't count. There's a lot of psychological aspects to praying 5 times a day that truly does keep a person in line, and in line in a good way, where they do not wrong themselves, they do not fall into any addiction, they do not blindly follow the wrong path. They also become the best version of themselves. Um, and that's what actually keeps me in line. And reading the Quran is also very important. Um, the Quran asks the people to produce one chapter just like it, that has the same linguistic power, the same linguistic miracles as there are in the Quran. And there's also mathematical miracles that will blow anyone's mind. And so, that's the challenge that God, asked the people. He said, if you think this message is not from God, then produce something like it, something as amazing linguistically. So, there you go. The fact that that book right there is worded very powerfully. I mean, the way it's worded, and in my opinion, no one can write something like it. And if someone can, let me know. We'll compare.
Do you have a favorite passage from your religion's scare text? What is it? Can you tell me about it? About it's important to you?
I'm gonna have to search that one. Hold on. Let me think. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Okay, what is the best ayah? Okay. Okay. I'm thinking about what subject should the ayah be about. I'm not recording here. Keep recording. Do you have one in mind? What is your favorite one? Did you have a favorite one? Okay, I'm gonna search right now Google Docs. Google Images. Amazing Quran verse. There you go. Quran verse for non-Muslims. For non-Muslims. For me, I'm a non-Muslim. No. For
Yeah.
Good for them to hear. Well, go ahead and ask the question again, so you don't have to do all that cutting. You get what I mean? Instead of finding where the question ended and where just ask the question again if there's a mistake, okay? And then you can it'll be way easier for you.
Do you have a favorite passage from your religion's scare text? What is it? Can you tell me about it if it's important to you?
Yeah. I'm gonna give you two, because one relates to the misunderstanding about Islam when it comes to war. Now, when it comes to verses about war, people usually cut off the part. Literally, there's verses that speak about the rules of war. However, there's a verse that says, "Kill them wherever you find them." Now, that verse is used to make fun of Muslims in the Quran, that they're violent and stuff. But the very verse that came before that verse, literally, the same page, just a verse before that, he explained clearly how it's about self-defense. You can only attack if you're attacked first. And there are rules. You cannot kill women or children. You cannot even cut a tree that provides shade. You cannot kill monks or priests or any of those, regardless of their religion. Old people, you cannot kill them also. And God said in the Quran, and I quote, "Whosoever kills a person, it shall be as if he had killed all of mankind." And there's another verse that, besides war and all that, that talks about people personally, and I think this verse could help people in their personal lives. And it says that, I quote, Allah or God, mind you, Allah is a form of, is it means God in Arabic, but in a unique way where you cannot turn Allah into plural. Allah also does not have a gender. Like the word itself does not have a gender. Like you can't name a man or woman Allah. It sounds weird in Arabic, as a matter of fact. And you cannot make it plural. As a matter of fact, if you try to make it plural, it's actually hard to say even. So it's pretty amazing. And the verse says, "Whosoever," I apologize. I got it right here because I um. So one second. Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. So, whatever you're going through in life, just know that you're strong enough to handle it. God does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. So, if you're going through a hard time in life, just know that you're strong and you can handle it and you can fight through it. And that helps me fight through my problems.
Are there any religious holidays that are particularly important to you? How do you observe these holidays?
Hold on, you're gonna have to do that again. My bad. Let me just. Well, not yet. One second. Just give me a second. Keep recording. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Are there any religious holidays that are particularly important to you? How do you observe these holidays?
You're gonna have to ask that again. Let me just because it didn't record it correctly. Sorry. Go ahead.
Are there any religious holidays that are particularly important to you? How do you observe these holidays?
All holidays are important, and there is not many holidays in Islam. I mean, we have Eid al-Fitr, which comes at the end of Ramadan, which in a way is a celebration after fasting the whole month. And so the celebration requires us to get together with our families. I mean, distant family members, of course. Now, in Islam, it's obligatory to contact your family, especially the immediate ones. It's considered obligatory. You have to stay in touch with your parents. You have to ask how they're doing and provide for them. So it's not the situation where if you're 18, you're free to go type of thing. It's a for life commitment for your family. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. So and then there's this other holiday. Sorry, sometimes I get sidetracked, but and then there's this other holiday called Eid al-Dhuha, which is based on the time Abraham almost killed his son Isaac, because Abraham came to Isaac and said, "I had a dream that I should sacrifice you for God's sake." So Isaac agreed and was like, go ahead, Father. Now that is deep. There's a lesson behind that. It shows how much belief they had in God, how much trust they had in God. And right before Abraham cut Isaac's throat, God replaced Isaac with a lamb from heaven. So we celebrate that day by sacrificing a sheep, or should I say a sheep, not lamb earlier. So he changed Isaac for a great sheep, and so that's what those are the two holidays that we have, and that's about it.
In your opinion, how well is your religion represented in popular culture?
Well, it's not very well represented. It's misrepresented, if anything. People tend to look down on people who look very different from them. Like if you look at history, at all all the atrocities that were committed, if you look at history, it's always because a certain people think their way is better, therefore making them superior. Um, uh, if a group of humans think they are more advanced, then arrogance could take them somewhere, uh, to a darker place where they think they're better than the other humans, which is a very deep mistake that many civilizations go through. Um, and in the face of all the massacres that has happened in history, um, there's just one truth to it. It's a group of people who think they're superior, who think they're better and more advanced, that look down on the others, think they are barbaric, think they are backwards. And this stuff still persists till today, because when someone sees a Muslim dressed in a Muslim garb, with his wife dressed in a hijab, a lot of times they say to themselves, wow, first of all, she must be abused. Second of all, the husband must be an extremist. But if someone is a true Muslim, then he must follow the rules of war, regardless. He can only attack in self-defense. Again, there's rules to that, and I addressed them earlier in the other question. Okay, go ahead.
Can you tell me 3 words that best describe what your religion means to you?
3 words. Peace, hope, and logic. Now, peace and hope, could make sense to a lot of people, but logic, would throw a lot of people off, especially those who are not religious, who do not believe in religion. But Islam provides, or should I say the Quran, gives very, very intelligent, reasons for why there cannot be more than one God. It highlights very important points that, disprove the fact that there could be more than one God. For example, the examples I mentioned earlier, where if there is more than one God and each God controls a certain aspect of nature, as soon as there's a conflict, and there always is a conflict in every religion, I say it more confidently now because I can't think of a religion that has more than one God that, get along with each other, or or that don't have an extremely powerful evil force that's also counteracting them or something like that. And Islam, God is all powerful. He created Satan, he created evil, good, death, all as a test to either bring out the evil within us and punish us for it, or bring out the good within us and punish us for it. He's not going to just send people to heaven and hell and, they'll be wondering why. What did I do to deserve this? And some people say humans are, don't deserve this or don't deserve that. But we have to be more thankful, because if you look at history, and even instances in modern times, humans massacre their enemies. They kill them. They rape their women, regardless of what side you're on. Please don't try to relate this to current issues or anything like that. A lot of people assume my point of view. It's better not to, because I'm pretty fair for both sides. If you look at it, humans have done the worst crimes imaginable, but they only do it when they think a certain people are lower than them and they are more advanced, better, kinder, or whatever it is. They see themselves as superior instead of seeing the reasons why the differences occurred.
Thank you for doing this interview with me.
You're welcome.